All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Gateway API Gamma meeting for June 13, 2023. We've got a pretty light agenda today. So as always, please feel free to add whatever you want to this agenda. And also, we're trying to find the right time for this meeting. We've been bouncing back and forth between a couple, and it is helpful for us to track who's able to make it to each time. So if you can, actually go ahead and add your name to the agenda. That would be really helpful. Yeah. And with that, let's jump right into the meeting. I've got a couple announcements to add here. First up, the meeting next week for the main API, Gateway API, falls on a Monday. That is a holiday in the US for many. So we've decided to cancel that meeting and merge it with the Gamma meeting that is scheduled for a week from today. So what that means is a week from today, the Gamma meeting will have a bit of extra content. So all the Gamma stuff as per usual, but also probably some Gateway API content as well. So it'll be a relatively full agenda, but same time, same meeting link, everything else, just more content and maybe a few more people.
Sounds sane from here.
Cool. And, before I go any further, I don't know if there are any people that are new to this call, but if so, often we'll give just a little opportunity for someone to introduce themselves if they're interested. And we do have time. So if anybody has not had a chance to introduce themselves and would like to, give a few minutes or seconds for that.
I'm not new. I just attended a few related groups several months ago and dropped out for a while and reconnecting. This is Sanjeev from Red Hat.
Nice to see you again.
Thanks.
Yeah, welcome back. Cool. All right. Yeah, well, welcome as always. All right, hopefully I didn't cut anyone else off. Please don't hesitate to jump in and cut me off with anything. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that the end of this week, the CFP for KubeCon Chicago closes. And actually, I think KubeCon Shanghai has the same dates for anyone interested.
It is the same date. We were just checking on that in an earlier meeting.
Oh, cool. Okay, so two KubeCons have a CFP closing in awfully soon. So if you have anything you want to submit, what I've found has been really helpful for I know it's hard to get talks accepted to KubeCon. One of the things that I found is helpful is to partner with someone from a different company if you have shared interest. And of course, Gateway API gives that opportunity many times over because we have lots of people here from lots of different companies working on similar things. So if I can help connect anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. Would love to help get more Gateway related talks or otherwise through Coop to KubeCon this time. Yeah.
Or just ask Flynn for a title.
Or that.
To point out my track record of getting my titles accepted is not actually 100%. I hate to admit that.
I mean, anything above.
But I'm happy to provide titles if it'll help.
I feel like the KubeCon acceptance rate is somewhere between 5 and 10%. So anything above that is what I would consider great success.
So I was on the program committee for KubeCon Amsterdam. I should say for one of the tracks for KubeCon Amsterdam, the overall acceptance rate for KubeCon Amsterdam was right at 5%. It was higher for KubeCon in Detroit, and then KubeCon Amsterdam kind of got slammed. And there's a lot of attention being paid to the whole process at this point.
That is not surprising, but wow, I knew it was low. I didn't realize it was that low.
It was very low. It was pretty grim.
Wow. Cool. Well, yes, definitely. If there's any way I can help people, let me know. I'm happy to help review things or connect people or whatever. I'm sure that applies to many others on here as well. Yeah, with that, I really, I think the main reason I wanted to meet today, we have a pretty light agenda, but I really wanted to make sure we had a plan for 080 because I'm really trying to get, our ducks in a row or whatever, just so we can get this out and we can call Gamma officially released. It'll still be experimental. It will still have caveats associated with it, but I just want it to officially be part of the API and get to that next level. So just kind of wanted to ask the high level question, what we're missing, because I know in the past we've described two things: one, docs, and two, updates to the API spec. Are there things beyond that we need to close on before we call this ready for review? I saw you unmute, Shane, but I'm curious.
Yeah,
if
you know
that-
me and my hardware. I just don't even.
Okay.
How are we looking on tests? I forget.
Hmm.
Like, what's our test coverage actually looking like? Are we missing a bunch of like spots or?
I would say it's slightly above low, slightly better than low. They exist for sure. We test the main stuff. It's not extensive by any means, but it definitely covers the basics.
And
It
we
was
got-
enough that I found 2 bugs in EastJS implementation, so it's not trivial or anything like that.
Gotcha. So maybe we're pretty close on tests. Maybe we just need a few more if we can laser focus in on some specific ones that would be helpful. But yeah, I mean, we're probably just about ready to say it's official. And then how people figure that out, the documentation stuff probably is the biggest thing. It's like right now, if you come to the website, you're going to get a very ingressy kind of story for a minute until you dig in. So
I think we really do have to do some work on the website.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that feels like one of the most critical pieces here. And I don't think we have any open issues or anything tracking this. I feel like we're all relatively aware that these are things we need to do and they're 080 release blocking, but I don't think we have anything actually publicly stating that. I could have just missed it as I was looking.
do we have anybody else who's trying to start jumping in? I know we have the 3 implementations right now. Is anybody aware of any other implementations that are like on the edge here that we're trying to pull in to the fold?
Well, I can't speak for them anymore, but to the best of my knowledge, Console is going to be planning on starting a Gamma implementation sometime in the next few months.
Gotcha. Okay.
So shortly, but only 3 that we know of right now.
Yeah, and I think that it's a very good set. And we just need people to, I guess, commit to docs and API spec. I mean, even API spec is a relatively small thing. I think docs is the biggest thing. And even if we can have someone who commits to just detailing out that work, like the different pages that need updating, I feel like that's the big thing we're lacking. Like if we can split this up into small enough chunks that that we can make sense of it and that we can send, have smaller pieces of work that individual people can take on, that feels like a good start, but we don't even have that right now.
Yeah.
Is
Docs?
anyone in a place where they could volunteer for just not even doing the work, but just tasking it
Organizing.
out? Yeah, organizing it.
Ask me next week. This week
Okay.
next week I'll probably be able to say that I can can do some organizing there. This week is hectic.
Slack reminder, ping Flynn next week.
Go ahead.
I feel like that may be the best offer we get right now. So let's run with
Yeah.
that.
Docs,
Um,
maybe a couple tests, get the site looking good, give people something to look at, and then probably we drop V80 or V080 and then make a Kubernetes blog post, because that has pretty decent reach.
Yeah.
The Kubernetes blog.
Yeah, that's
And
a really
I
good
promise
point.
I promise I'll only put Linkerd first half the time.
As long as it
Perfect.
comes with the giant Pokemon, the blue crab or lobster Pokemon, I like it.
Linky goes on everything, man. Yeah, I'll. In all seriousness, Shane, yeah, go ahead and tell Slack to do the reminder thing, and let's touch base on this next week.
Done.
I should be able to help with that.
Cool. Does anyone want to volunteer? This is really work that's probably a couple weeks out, but well, it doesn't need to be a couple weeks out actually. On actually updating the places in API spec where Gamma, is relevant, which I think is primarily parent ref on routes. Maybe only that. Mike?
Mike is raising his hand. Yay!
I could probably help wrap up some of the stuff, get across the finish line.
Awesome. Okay.
That would be
I
lovely.
will sign you up for this one. But yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, thank you. And then finally, I think what Flynn pointed out, or Shane, somebody pointed out, the Kubernetes blog post is an amazing idea. We are absolutely overdue for another update there. We've traditionally gotten a lot of reach out of Kubernetes blog posts.
Yeah, you can ping me on that one as well.
Okay. All right. That's amazing.
It's okay. I'll just get ChatGPT to do it. It'll be fine.
And usually what we look for with these blog posts is, even if there's one person who is doing the majority of the initial writing, we want to have authors from as many different implementations as possible represented, just to, again, show the power of the community. So if others are interested, ideally, at least one per implementation, that would be really, really helpful. So if we can get some more volunteers that want to help out with this one, it would be great.
And if we can't get more volunteers, I'll come find people. So
cool. Even better. All right. So I think that helps. We have a high level idea of what we need to do next between now and 080. As a reminder, we've been working with this idea that we want to hand this off to the SIG Network API review process in early July. So pretty quick. We'll say 3 weeks from now. I think this list of things is small enough that we can get it done. The docs, really the only thing we need to hand this off is the spec updates. The docs and blog post are what we really need to have in place before we actually hit release. So we have a little bit more time on that, but those are also bigger items. So yeah. Cool. All right. Anything else in 080 that I might have missed before I keep on moving? All right. I just wanted to pull this one last thing up from triage. If anyone else knows of anything, don't hesitate to bring it up. But there's this PR from Mike Beaumont that has approvals, LGTMs. I think the only thing left is request. Yeah, I think Shane, you requested one more look over from John.
As I understood it, since John last checked it, there were several changes Beaumont made that ideally John would just check out real quick before we merge it.
Sorry, I wasn't aware. I'll take a look.
Cool. Okay. And yeah, just if anyone else has time to take a look, that's all the better. More eyes are better, but yeah, would love to get this one in, and that I think addresses or partially addresses what we've been talking about here of getting a little bit more test coverage in for Gamma before we release 080. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's the end of the agenda that I'm aware of. But please, if anyone else has any opens, we can cover them now. Otherwise, we can give people time back. Cool.
I
All
had
right. Well,
a-
thanks. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Good.
I had a sort of general question, just kind of catching up on the current status of Gamma, because the last I checked was maybe 3 odd months ago. Is it fair to say that the mission of Gamma is still to have these Kubernetes native service mesh APIs based on
Yeah.
gateway, largely leveraging the gateway API and adding extensions where appropriate, to essentially cover the most common service mesh requirements across a number of service meshes? Is that a summary of the Gamma mission still?
That's very much a summary of what I still understand the mission to be. If it's not the mission, we should talk about that.
Yeah, big same here. I that's how I interpret it.
Okay. Yeah. I had initiated some proposals in a couple of areas, and they were all related to multi-cluster and policy and things like that. So if I get some time in the coming weeks, I could think about reviving work on some of those. I have to look at. I just wanted to level set on where things stood since I'd been out of it for a few months.
We've still been sort of deliberately trying to not work a lot on multi-cluster. Mostly because there was enough stuff in a single cluster to occupy a lot of attention.
Sure. And
as
also
we
there's
move towards array 0, right? But that doesn't mean, I think that at some point multi-cluster is very much a thing we have to talk about.
right. Also, one of the feedback from the last time I was sort of dabbling in that was that, a lot of that needs to be also driven through SIG multi-cluster. So I'll reconnect there as well to see where things stand in SIG multi-cluster.
Yeah. Or at least interacting with SIG multi-cluster.
Yes, some of these. Oh, sorry, Alex, go.
Sorry, unrelated. You can finish this topic.
Cool. Yeah, it's sometimes difficult to find the right venue for them. Some of these kind of expansive, ambitious things that may touch on multiple SIGs or working groups. So yeah, definitely would encourage chatting with folks here in SIG multi-cluster. And also I think Network Policy API may have some relevant touch points for some of the stuff that you've brought up in the past too.
Yeah.
Cool. Excited to see that work pick up though.
Yeah, thanks.
Alex, you're up.
Yeah, just real quick. I've been reading a lot of the docs lately. I'm just wondering if I've got questions about the way things are organized on the website or the docs in general. Is raising an issue against the Gateway API repo a good place for that feedback?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. I'll be the first to say that our docs have grown organically, shall we say, and I don't think any one of us would be against any changes. We need improvements. We're very aware of it, and I would encourage you to call them out. There's things that at least I take for granted because they're in my head, and I roughly like, oh well, of course it means this, but I know our docs are in very dire need of updates. So anything you can call out, and anyone who is willing to help contribute there too, it's an area that we desperately want to improve before the broader API reaches GA and 1.0 in this fall. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that raising an issue there is the right venue for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been really great. I think we may have reached the end of our meeting today. I know. Give
Amazing.
everyone some time back. But thanks so much, everyone, and we'll talk to you and have a broader agenda next week. So see everyone then. Have a great one.
Enjoy.
Bye.